the Chicago Bears, who have had probably one of the more active days. There we go.
Yep.
Active starts to free agency. A couple big moves. They trade for Garrett Bradbury. Gave up a fifth to New England for that. They signed Devin Bush today for 3 years, $30 million, to kind of fill a defensive need. And then another defensive need, they signed Kobe Bryant, newly minted Super Bowl champion, Kobe Bryant, to a 3-year, $40 million deal to help in the defensive backfield. Y'all's thoughts on those collections of moves?
I mean, I like it. They're all, well, I was going to say they're all really good players. Devin Bush was a good player this year with Cleveland. So, yeah, he's the one that had the breakout season at
Yes.
Cleveland after the issues. Yeah. I wanted to be sure I wasn't getting my Devin White and Devin Bushes mixed up, the two guys drafted in the same year. But he had a really good season at Cleveland, and so after not having a great start to his career, it looks like the Bears are buying into that with that $10 million a year contract. But I like it. I like the Garrett Bradbury move, right? Chicago Bears 2 or 3 years ago had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and they took steps to fix that, and Caleb Williams ends up having a good season with some really, really fantastic clutch plays that gets them to the playoffs and gets them a playoff win. I believe, right? They beat a team. Who did they beat?
The Bears?
Yes.
They beat the Packers.
Thank you. Beat the Packers and then lost to the Rams. So it gets them a playoff win. And now I think it's wise to continue to invest in that because offensive line is one of those things where you don't just fix it and then leave it alone. You can continue to reinvest and bring in upgrades and take every opportunity you can to try and either find replacements for starters or backfill, right? And, find replacements for the guys that you're going to need in a year or two. So I think it's a very proactive move by the Bears to not just be like, well, the offensive line wasn't terrible this year, so we don't need to do anything with it. I think it's proactive and effective to go out and continue to try and improve one of the most important position groups in football.
I think they're adding pieces to fill the pieces that they lost, and they're doing it very well. Safety losing Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard, more than likely. Now, Byard probably has a chance to get re-signed by them, but Brisker for sure. They replaced it with Kobe Bryant, who was pretty low on the list in terms of potential re-signees for Seattle. They cut Tremaine Edmonds to let him walk in free agency, a linebacker. They signed Devin Bush to replace him, a very capable starter. And then their center kind of unexpectedly retires, and they trade for Garrett Bradbury, who is one of the top-end centers, at least in my opinion. So I think they've done a good job in replacing those holes that appeared for them, and I think they managed today pretty well. I'm really excited to see where they continue to go. Their defense needed a ton of help, and so I hope they continue to work on that defense as well. This team allowed the sixth most rushing yards per game. They were bottom 10 in pretty much all of the quarterback pressure stats. They also allowed a ton of yards through the air, including the second most yards through the air, 2,600, fifth most passing touchdowns, 32. What have we seen the last 2 years winning the Super Bowl? Defenses win championships. The Eagles' defense and Seattle's defense. In Chicago, if they want to get to that, and the NFC needs to do that themselves. So they have prioritized that. They were already losing a ton of pieces to begin with, and now I think maybe you hope these kind of pieces can replace, and if not replace, do even better than who was there before. I do want to say, it feels like every single move is a good move, and everyone's going to have that reaction to every single move.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that every single move will be a good move. So, Kobe Bryant did have questions about, his production. Devin Bush has not had a fully consistent career. He had a really good year last year. Garrett Bradbury is old. If I'm not mistaken, he's 30 or 31. That doesn't mean that the team is just going to all of a sudden get better because they added good pieces. Those pieces still have to fit into their culture and fit into their team. And so I want to caution to everyone's going to say every move is good except for the bad players signing with bad teams.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So it can't be the only reaction. It would be my point.
I think it's pretty well said by y'all, though. I mean, I think I like all three moves. I think it's a good start, and I'm kind of excited to see how they build on it through the rest of free agency and the offseason, the draft, etc. Their defense was just kind of middling at best last season,
Yeah.
and I think it went under the radar a little bit because of what a turnaround it was, considering the year before, and what a great year one it was for Ben Johnson. But I think if their defense put up a repeat performance of that this upcoming season, it would raise a lot more red flags, and a lot more people would kind of catch on of oh, okay, now that they're not just kind of some fun story, they actually do have some legit issues. So I think it's very smart to try and address it, and I think they have gone about it well so far.